Facebook, Instagram, and all those other good joints. Is Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And I'm here to just do that. It's Saturday. I told you I would be back on Saturday because I didn't do my show on Friday. So I'm making up for lost time. In fact, I'm going to stretch it out and do an extended remix. I'm going to give you the LP version. Like back in the day when you used to get a record, flip that bad boy over and have something on the other side, the long version of some song that went on forever. So, welcome to the show. I know it's Saturday. I caught you off guard. It's not my normal time, but hopefully you got a little time to rock with me for a little bit. So first things first, let me make sure that you can hear me. 1 2 1 2, check 1. Check 2 1 1 1 2 1. Check 7. Check 2 3 5 7 2 1. Okay, can you hear me? All right. I'm assuming over there on Facebook you can hear me as well. So with that being said, we're about to get into it because I told y'all I'm gonna go ahead and stretch it out since it's Saturday and most likely we just all chilling in a b-boy stance somewhere. We might be able to go ahead and knock out some stuff and have some good some fun while also dropping some truth and some knowledge about what's going on around the country. If this is your first time here, hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, well, X, Instagram, I guess that's all the places. Rumble, and then you can subscribe to my alternative channel just in case I get nixed off of this particular channel, which hopefully that won't happen. Also, stay tuned. I'm going to be dropping some merchandise. That's right. Very soon you will see the little ad come up. But that's only one way you can support the channel. You can also support the channel through my fundraiser, which we are chugging along. I think I can. But it would definitely help. I just call it a $5 a month fundraiser. I put the link right below each one of my live stream videos, so you can just click on it if you want to support the channel in that way. Okay, I appreciate it because it helps offset all of the censorship. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get busy. I like getting busy. What? Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Gorilla in here. Gorillas in here. Welcome to the Gorilla Clan. Now, with that being said, y'all, oh boy, stupidity surrounds us. We're infested with stupidity. Man, I'd rather be dealing with mosquitoes, dust mites, rats, roaches, all kind of infestation versus stupidity. This is the worst. And we got all kind of politicians and all types of citizens infested with this mess right here. So let's see what we got going right off grip.
So much.
Oh boy. Now y'all see who this is. Raggedy Patty. There it is, man. She got a jump on Christmas season with that big green blazer on right there. Dang on it. So let's see what Raggedy Patty has to say to somebody else she's interviewing, God. And I'm sure you'll recognize this person that she's interviewing by the gap between her two front teeth.
Just going to be centered around the outcome in Georgia, because we are a year out now from the election in 2024. You helped drive turnout in the state that was crucial to President Biden's win in 2020. Are you satisfied with the job he's done as president, what he's delivered on?
I think President Joe Biden has been an exceptional president.
What? Y'all hear gap between the teeth? Do y'all hear gap between the teeth? So she had the nerve to come out there and say, I think Joe Biden has been an exceptional president. Okay, why would you say that? Now, you're just hoping that everybody that's watching this show, like MSNBC always does, you're hoping that every single viewer is stupid, is ignorant. They're out of touch with reality. They're out of touch with the actual consequences that the Biden administration has had on their life. So we're going to have to remind Gap in the Teeth what the heck is going on around the country. Her goal right here, though, is to come out and kiss the ring. Her goal is to come out and sell out and try to sell Biden, along with Raggedy Patty, along with MSNBC, along with CNN. It's unbelievable how they will come out there and just completely gaslight their audience and say, well, I think he's done an exceptional job. Have you been watching that man lately? You've been watching that dude trip up and down steps, forget stuff, fall asleep in mid-stride. All of this mess. Have you been watching the damage that this man has created the last 3 years? It's unreal that she could come on here with a straight face because they own her. That's why. Y'all see what happened to Mayor Adams, y'all. This dude got a little frisky. This dude decided I'm going to bow up and start accusing the Biden administration of not handling that border. And I'm about to go up there and give him a piece of my mind. Let me get on this airplane. All right, stewardess, we're checked in. Yeah, we're ready for takeoff. Hey, guys, I'm heading off to Washington. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. I'm getting a call. Hello? Yeah, I'm on the tarmac. We're about to take off. What? They're raiding your house? Who? The FBI? Oh, dang on it, Biden. All right, hold on. I'll be there in a minute. Stewardess, can you stop the bus, the plane, brother? I gotta get off. Yeah, so he's getting that heat. He's getting that warning. Like, look, man, you don't become a predominant left-wing Democrat leader unless we let you. We only like you because you're obedient. It's not just because you're black. We don't care nothing about that. We just use that. We use that to bludgeon all of the Republicans by calling them racists and all of that stuff. We use you guys to bubble wrap ourselves. We stick you out there to push policies and stupidity. So therefore, when you criticize about all of it, they can block that with saying, well, look, you're just doing this because I'm black, or you're doing this because I'm a woman. You're doing this because of whatever. We just use y'all for that. And for profiling. There we go. So everybody can say, look at them. They're diverse. They're open and receptive to inclusion. But all of these black Democrat politicians, once they get to a certain level, are paid and bought. So you can't come out there changing it up after you hit the height level. You can't come out there like, all right, now I started from the bottom. Now I'm here and I got a revelation. What? But along the way to getting there, how much stuff did we do for you? How much dirt did we gather on you? And now Mayor Adams is feeling that. It's suspicious that they just decided right when he started criticizing the Biden administration over his immigration policies and then decided to go up there. It's just ironic out of nowhere. This guy gets a visit from the feds to his campaign manager. So she is like, I ain't going that route. Let me go out there and lie right between that big fat 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 mile gap between my teeth. So here she is, man, about to drop a lie right between those snappers.
On a range of issues, he has overperformed expectation. He has navigated incredibly difficult circumstances, and he has shown that he is willing to stand with the people of Georgia, with the people of this country, to move the nation forward.
What's she talking about? Who is she talking about? Anybody? Any guesses? I don't know. Because she surely ain't describing the old fart that I see scurrying around all over the place, can barely lift his knees. Surely she ain't talking about that dude. Wow. So I'm going to have to remind Gap in the teeth what Biden is really about.
We have to remember what we face if we want to continue to hold on the progress we've had.
What progress? What progress? I'm sorry. See, they're talking in liberal language. Therefore, they both understand when they're talking about progress that we've had, it's progress in destroying the country and bringing in socialism. If we're going to maintain the progress that we had with creating open borders and a broken economy, just losing to China and demoralizing our military and sending money everywhere except for the United States and moving towards globalism and totalitarianism and all of that stuff, if we're going to continue with that, we have to continue. We have to continue doing what we're doing. We don't want to roll back all of that because, see, Trump did that. They were expecting Hillary, or should I call her by her real name, Crooked. They were expecting Crooked to go ahead and take them into the utopian land of tyranny. She was supposed to be the chosen one to take them right over into the land of socialism. But yet Trump interrupted that process and set them back. So now they're trying to regain all that progress that they lost when Trump was in office. And she don't want that road back. Because surely she's not talking about the progress that they made for us. I feel no progress at all. At all. So maybe she can clarify.
You can't ignore the fact that people's lives are harder. And this is not because of the president. It is because...
What? Now, you talking about talking out both sides of that gap? So here she's at that Biden has done an exceptional job, but you can't ignore the fact that people's lives are harder. But it's not due to the old creepy man who sniffs everybody's hair and don't know how to complete sentences and don't remember any names. And he's embarrassing us on the world stage and he's projecting nothing but weakness as our enemies go ahead and position themselves to take America over. We're not talking about that guy. It's not his fault. Unreal.
Because of global issues and international challenges and market conditions and a whole host of things that don't matter.
Except for Biden. Global issues, international stuff has nothing to do with Creepy's policies and his decisions or who is running Creepy. Yeah. So you're telling me United States, with all its power and influence, don't affect global issues? You're telling me we can't prevent stuff? I mean, we sure enough can start stuff, but our very presence can also prevent stuff. Our policies can prevent stuff. The way we negotiate can either make or break some deals. And when you look at how they negotiated all of the stuff on a global stage, they stunk it up, which opened up the door for all of this global conflict. That's what happened. But it's not Joe Biden's fault. The reason is because Joe Biden doesn't have the mental capacity to negotiate anything anyway. You cannot sit him in there to spar, which he spar with Putin, spar with anybody, Kim Jong-un. They will all eat this man to pieces. All that would do is will encourage them to take over the whole country once they get a bird's eye view of just how senile this dude is at this point. They would be sitting there and in the first 2 or 3 seconds, who am I supposed to be introducing? Is it me or some? Wait, no. All right, look here, John. It's Chi. Oh, I'm sorry, Chi. John and Chi kind of sounds alike. But anyway, right off grip, they would be going, this dude's done. Who else do I need to be talking to besides this guy? Because he's not running the country. If we all here in America that got some intelligence can see that Joe's not running the country, you telling me smart leaders across the globe can't see this? And it became a free-for-all because America is off the throne. So they're like, let's have some fun. The parents are away for the weekend. Let's risk some business, risky business. Da-na-na-na-na. Just take those old records off. Unbelievable. And here she is lying between that gap.
Matter to you when you're sitting at your kitchen table. But for elected officials and those of us who want to see people show up and vote and participate and re-elect Joe Biden, we have to meet people where they are. They have baked in the successes they've seen. They need to know what's next. And I think President Biden is doing a good job of laying out what that can look like and painting that picture. But we
Are you kidding me? The man can't even, commit to a sentence that makes sense. Every time he gets finished talking, I'll be like, what does he say? What did he say? Wait, how did he start there and in here? But here she is. He's making it very clear. And I'm going, she cannot be talking about the same Joe Biden I've been watching and listening to. You could only get away with this type of propaganda if people don't keep up on current events. Most people don't watch Joe Biden talking. They don't watch the little clips that's posted to show just how demented he is. And look at Raggedy. Y'all see Raggedy Patty sitting there? Yes. You're bringing a smile to my face, Big Gap. You're bringing a smile to my face. Raggedy's here for you to vomit up all of this propaganda right between that gap. Go ahead, continue. Interesting.
To remember that people remember what they feel when they walk into a voting booth. And that means we've got to ensure that what they feel is hope, what they feel is progress,
Look at that
and
gap.
what they feel is that their votes matter.
What I feel is you need some braces. That's what I feel. I feel like right about now we need Samson between that gap trying to hold both of your teeth together. Pull them together. Where's Samson when we need him? That's what I see. Those teeth are sprinting away from each other right about now. They're going to meet at the back of your head after a while. That's how quick both of those teeth are running away. You're gonna have teeth on the back of your neck. So now, I'm sorry. The playground capping comes out sometime. I can't let the gap go. It's right there in my face. You know what I'm saying? I can stick my whole head right between the two fronts and looking at, hello, hello, hello. Hey, hey, hey. Right there. Is that her tongue? Wow. I've never been inside somebody's mouth before like this. The gates was open. Those two front teeth were open. I thought that her whole mouth was open. It's almost like you don't even see she has a mouth. Teeth wide open. It's like, wow, all I see is a cave. All right, let's continue. I'm sorry about talking about her teeth. But we're going to expose Joe Biden and her lies by default. Look at this. Let's check her work.
I am beyond honored to welcome and introduce President Joe Biden.
Creepy sleepy. Come on, Joe. Give it to us, creepy.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to Kansas. Happy to be here in Lithuania.
Well, folks, please take a seat if you have one.
Okay.
I said that some time ago. Take a seat, and there weren't any seats in the room. And I said, see that Biden? He didn't even know there's no seats.
Oh, God. Same old jokes.
At any rate.
Recycling the jokes. Totally forgot. I say this every time. But anyway, what?
Hey, folks, Bidenomics is just another way of saying the American dream.
What? So, y'all hear that? Now, remember, big gap between the teeth just said Biden is doing a wonderful job at, communicating this message to the people and encouraging all of us. And his message is Bidenomics is just another way of saying the American dream. So let's see what the American dream currently looks like under the Biden administration and Bidenomics. Here we go.
The American dream.
In just 2 years, mortgage rates have gone from 3% to 8%. That adds nearly $1,000 to the monthly payment on today's median-priced home.
Well, all Americans dream of that, honey. I dream of the day when our mortgage goes up. Boy, I can't wait for inflation to rise. Aren't you excited, dear? All Americans dream of that.
The American dream.
For the first time in history, credit card debt for Americans has hit $1 trillion, to be exact, $1,003 billion.
I'm excited about all of this credit card debt. Aren't you? Hey, kids, we won't be having Christmas this year. The credit cards are maxed out. Aren't you excited, kids? Yay! No Christmas! This is the American dream.
That's according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Food costs are still at an all-time high.
And Brianna.
Hey, kids, there's got to be some sacrifices for the American dream. There'll be no eating. There you go. Food prices are extremely high, but you know what? This is going to teach you guys, the art of suffering, okay? There's other people out there with disadvantages, and this is our time to show everybody how to suffer. It's this the way we enjoy the American dream, kids. There it is.
Anna Hamblin joins us. And Brianna, what are prices looking like right now?
Horrible.
Well, Ben and Amy, inflation accelerated last month for the second straight month, which is more than analysts were expecting.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu making it very clear here that Israel is at war after this sweeping, coordinated, and brutal attack 48 hours ago, the likes of which they have not seen here in 50 years.
Kids, you know what the American dream is? Aren't you excited about war overseas? Under that white nationalist Trump, we had peace. Ugh. Gives me the willies thinking about it. Aren't you excited about possible war that could lead to nuclear war, World War III? Yay, come on, kids, let's celebrate that. It's the American dream. Unbelievable. Let's see.
My God, crossing into the U.S. from the southern border has hit an all-time high.
Last month, Customs and Border Protection saw more than 260,000 southern border crossings.
Now, kids, we're going to have to sacrifice a little bit of our American dream so that others can have the American dream. Aren't you excited to give up things that you like? Huh? Like your safety, perhaps? Yeah, things like that. So, kids, this is the time to celebrate Bidenomics, the American dream. Interesting.
Which is a record. CBP data shows there are more than 2.2 million people who came to the U.S. through the southern border in 2023.
The more the merrier, kids. The more of the American dream. Look at that. Now, kids, unfortunately, you're going to be the only two in your classroom that speaks English. Okay, because all of these people who just got thrown into your classroom are here for the American dream as well. So now, instead of them learning English, you're all going to have to learn Spanish. It's just a small sacrifice for the American dream. Let's continue.
We have a secure border.
Bullshit.
A new report shows people of all ages are in more debt than ever. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, 30-year-olds have experienced the biggest leap in years.
And amid this war and all of this uncertainty back in the U.S. tonight, security is now being stepped up. Tonight, ABC News confirming that every major city police department in the country is now on heightened alert amid concerns of threats against synagogues and houses of worship.
Yay, less safety. Isn't that one of the fundamental principles of the American dream? To feel less safe? I can't wait. I can't wait until we are completely into chaos. That will then complete the American dream. When we all collapse and it implodes, and we're all running around in our heads hearing, "Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games." When we're all living through a Mad Max scenario, when we're all completely taken over by other countries with their economy and possibly the military, or when we're all drugged into a war overseas for some reason. Those are all the things that will complete the American dream under the Biden administration, because apparently this must be what Stacey Abrams is talking about when she's talking about the American dream and Biden. He's communicating all that stuff, because this is what is really happening. So is he describing this stuff? When he says Bidenomics is the American dream. Well, this is what's happening right now. So it must be this he's describing. Unreal. Continue.
Some schools.
Do you really feel safer under Donald Trump?
Yes.
And how, in the words of the Little Rascals, and how do you really feel safer under Donald Trump? Boy, I tell you, that might be the question of the year. Now, you will have dummies out there that are so delusional. I mean, do you understand what's going to happen if Donald Trump gets back in? I mean, everything's going to go completely haywire. We're going to be at World War III. What? We're almost at World War III now? Okay, well, so Donald Trump didn't even get as close to that last time. In fact, it was more peaceful. Well, so what? I'm going to believe the Matrix that's downloading this into my head. I'm going to believe all of the narratives that I actually experienced his first term that were totally opposite from the narratives that everybody told us it would happen. There you go. He's going to take over as a dictator. He's going to set himself up as the forever president of the United States. Unreal. And people are out there really believing this crap. He's going to ban gay people. You know what? He's going to send Muslims back. He's going to send black people back. He's going to... all of this crap. And they actually are running around saying it. And it's fascinating to hear people get on the internets and say things like that. Seriously, too. Panicking. Scared. Trying to drop knowledge on people. I don't know what you people are thinking. I can't believe you guys are thinking about not voting. Do you understand what's at stake? And I'm going, yes. We do. I understand what's at stake. In fact, stay home. All of you. Anybody who's not voting for Trump, sleep in. Don't set the clock. Take a sleeping pill that day. Something. But don't go out and vote. So now, guys, we got to shift our attention, which this still kind of involves creepy sleepy. It kind of piggybacks off of the American dream that he just mentioned. But it's really getting to some of his minions, because see, Joe's not capable of implementing any of this stuff. He just signs off on it. All right, do it, whatever. Tear up the whole country. It doesn't matter to me. You made me president, and that's all I ever wanted. Couldn't do it on my own because I got a lying problem. So now we have to go and visit you know who, y'all. Oh, man, one of my favorite times. It's mucus time. Let's let the mucus flow. So here comes mucus, y'all. About to get abused. Some more. And Raggedy Ray is too. But start with mucus. Here we go.
You and I have spoken about this often, and you've been very clear to be able to say the system is broken. In fact, the last time we had this hearing, we had the same conversation. I pulled a quote on it. You said the asylum system is broken. Our entire immigration system is broken. There's unanimity about that. We have hope that Congress will reform a broken system.
Now, see, according to mucus, broken means the system is broken because it does not allow illegal immigrants to come in here at will, and that is why I say it's broken. See, because I'm thinking if we did just the basic smart things, if we would have kept some basic things in place, none of this would be happening. Just simple things. Like, having folks only be able to apply for asylum if they can prove that they applied for asylum in like the first 3 or 4 countries they went to before they came to our country. Basic stuff. Basic stuff. Building a wall. Yeah. Not changing the requirements for asylum, keeping it based on political or religious persecution. Small stuff. That's it. So what are you talking about is broken? So let's hear his definition of broken.
I went back and pulled the asylum numbers from 2010 to be able to see how many asylum requests did we have across our southwest border in 2010. In 2010, we had 21,000 asylum requests for the year.
Okay, so y'all got that? Y'all doing the math? So in 2010, 21 asylum requests. Okay. Versus now, what changed?
Across our southwest border. Now we often have that in 3 days.
What?
It's an enormous shift. You also had a piece that
you know what changed? Mucus. Mucus got in. There you go. See, when things change drastically, the first thing you should be asking is what contributed to the change? What contributed to the change? So it's fair to say that the Biden administration and their policies contributed to the change, especially when you compare Trump's last month in office, where there was only 30,000 crossings in that whole month. You can get that in a day under mucus. So the question becomes, why now? Why did they all go up? Could it be that they perceive mucus as weak, or even worse, as complicit, as being the vessel to bring them all in? He is the Noah right now. All right, everybody in the ark. That's what he is. He's telling all of these illegal immigrants to come over here to America. We're the ark. So let's see how this man unravels mucus so smoothly.
You just put out an op-ed piece in the Washington Post where you state that the supplemental funding request is not a long-term solution to a deep-seated problem. We need changes in our national immigration law. So I'd like to zero in on that conversation today.
I love this. See, he's taking a different approach with his style. See, he's like, you know what? I'm going to give mucus a chance to go ahead and demonstrate his style in the ring. All of this whining about that the immigration system is broken and Congress needs to act. Okay, I'm here to listen. I want to hear what your definition of broken is and what could solve it so that you can expose your raggedy style and therefore I can knock you out. So let's hear mucus. Listen to what he says needs to change that will solve it.
Okay. What are the key changes that need to happen in the law? And I'm going to go through quite a few issues here. Hit the high points. What are the things that need to be able to change?
Give it to us.
Senator, we need a functioning system that
keeps them out of our country and prevents them from traveling from all overseas and coming all the way from the bottom of South America all the way to our border. And we also need a functioning system that will keep a wall up so that they cannot come across. That's what I should be hearing. I shouldn't be hearing anything that does not point towards stopping them from coming. Watch all of the stuff he's suggesting and look at the outcome that it would have.
Is labor supply with labor demand. We need a functioning system in the asylum arena so that our core value of providing humanitarian relief to those in need who qualify is actually executed with efficiency and with speed. The ability to remove individuals who do not qualify is similarly executed with efficiency and speed. We need to provide a lawful pathway to citizenship for so many millions of people who have been resident in the United States and productive contributors to our country's prosperity. We need to take care of the young people who know no home other than America, the dreamers who have contributed so much. Those are some of the elements.
Dun, 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 dun. Kevin Smash, did y'all hear all of that garbage? Every single thing that man was saying we need to do, it all just was to make it easier and more comfortable for these people to come and make it easier for us to process them and keep them into our country. Not one thing that man said we needed would stop or discourage more people from coming. He just described everything to make it more comfortable. Not one thing would make them say, well, I guess the party's over. We had a nice run. Mucus and the Biden administration opened it up the floodgates for us, and I guess they're closing it now. Nothing about any of those policies he said we need would discourage or stop more from coming. It all points towards making it easier to funnel them in. Unbelievable. And that is why Mucus needs to get kicked completely out of office and possibly thrown in jail.
Several of those things don't reduce the number of people coming. They're dealing with people that are physically present here. And as you and I both know, if there's a family member physically present here, that incentivizes another family member to be able to come and to be able to join them. That actually accelerates the process. When we have 21,000 people requesting asylum in 2010, and we have millions now, how do we reduce that flow specifically on asylum? Is it clarifying the definition of asylum? What is that needs to happen on asylum?
I don't know, because I was not hired to actually change the system in a good way. I was hired to break it. So all of the laws and stuff means nothing to me. My job is to bring them in our country. That's it. See, so here he is. The definition of asylum, something that seems so small, but yet at the same time would prevent all of these people from coming. Because, see, the whole gig is they're all coming for asylum. Well, we need to know what that means. When did asylum change? Why would you change the definition of asylum? If the definition changes to make it easier and more broad, then I got to question, why would you do that? Why would you make it more broad unless you wanted more people to come? Because if it's too stringent, now you got to contend with breaking the law, the asylum laws. If you're letting people in because of stupid stuff, so what you do is you change it and make it broad, pretty much, and then coach these people on what to say. Coach them. That's why he needs to go to jail, because this is done on purpose and by design. And it is putting our country at risk for everything. That's why he needs to go, and all of the other ones that support it and came up with the scheme need to all go to jail.
So we have taken important steps in that regard within the context of a broken
policy changes needed.
Yes, policy changes are needed, but let me, if I may, Senator, provide context. We have currently, right now in the world, the greatest number of displaced individuals in decades and decades. And that is true with respect to our hemisphere.
I get it. But
so what? Now what? Why are they displaced, Muke? That's what I want to know. Why are they displaced? Why are they only rushing towards the United States? You're displacing them by inviting them. They would stay where they are if you weren't having a bullhorn about everybody come out to America. We have an app that you can go on to, and it'll make it very easy for you to get processed into our country. And we will give you VATICAF care according to Biden and community college. And we will send you all over the United States, wherever you want to go. And we will provide cell phones and healthcare and shelter and all of that stuff. I would come. If I was a guy, I would be like, displace me. I'm down here in some country here, hacking up stuff in the jungle, working for about 13 cents a day. And you're telling me that I could come to the U.S. and make, what, $5-6? I mean, it might not be that much in U.S. dollars, but it's a whole heap of money based on where I just came from. And they're going to take care of some of my expenses? Absolutely. And all I got to do is what? Come up with a couple, $5,000-6,000 for the cartel? So now Mucus here is talking about displacement, but not describing why. See, because you hear stuff like this, and yet nobody ever stops and said, what made them become displaced? Where's the major conflict down in South America that's going on that would displace all of them? Oh, gang violence. I'm sorry. Oh, climate change. My bad. Climate change, it only is displacing people in South America. It's not displacing the people in the U.S., though. Isn't that funny how we're not fleeing climate change? Our climate's perfect here. Perfect here. But soon as you cross over into Mexico and beyond, all of a sudden that climate is so crazy that they all got to rush to our country. Isn't that crazy? Now, if climate change was that real, we would be all running around too. And frankly, like I said before, South America got better weather than here. I'm sitting up here right now. It's about 40 degrees outside. You don't think I would want to be out there in South America? I have to deal with all of the other stuff that comes along with that. But let's continue hearing Mucus lie to us.
But I don't mean to interrupt on this. I'm limited on time. But that doesn't excuse, for instance, the Wall Street Journal had a piece this past week about 45,000 Indians coming to the United States to request asylum, and it tracks the different flights of different countries they're going through, including France, to be able to get to the United States, to be able to catch a flight, to be able to get a truck, to be able to come over to our border and request asylum.
I like his style. See, now what he's doing is about to expose the raggedy style of Mucus by simply bringing up an example that will highlight how ridiculous Mucus border policies are and asylum, how obvious it is that these people are taking advantage of the decisions that you made. You're talking about displacement and they're coming for a better life and better conditions all the way from India. All the way from India. Okay, everybody, get on the plane. We're not going to America. They jump on the plane, go through multiple countries, all to get to South America. They didn't even come in through, the airports in America. Isn't it crazy how they decided to just go to South America? If they really want to come to the United States, why don't they just come and visit? Just go ahead and get a passport, come straight in here and visit. But they came to stay. See, because Mucus got open borders. So what they did is went exactly to the place that it is obvious you can come into our country right on the spot. So now, how do you explain this, Mucus? Why are all these so-called people that's displaced, people that are disenfranchised, people that are persecuted? I mean, are they persecuting the Indians over there for their religious beliefs and all of that stuff? No? Is there a war in India we don't know about? Why are they coming? That's what makes me want to virtually Jedi choke Mucus with that scrawny little bit. The people say that. That's what I feel like doing to Mucus.
So it's a very different thing to be able to say we have migration happening around the country when really what we have is a pull factor, one of the greatest economies in the world, that people that want to be able to come here to work go through the process to be able to do whatever it takes to be able to get here, because then they can request asylum and cross our border. They're going through multiple other countries that would definitely be safe countries to be able to go in, but they want to come to the United States, and I don't blame them. It's a great country, but they're not coming through a legal pathway in that. They're coming through with an asylum definition that's so broad that it's inviting them to come, and it's just accelerating.
Wow, did he just expose Mucus' whole playbook? I mean, how do you even come back from that? How do you explain that? That man intelligently, not aggressively, just simply gave an example to show that you're corrupt, Mucus. See, you're trying to feed us doodle and tell us it's chocolate. So these people are escaping whatever. They're coming for asylum, but yet they choose to go through multiple countries in Europe, all safe countries. But that's not good enough for them. Let's continue going, jump another plane that flies all the way to South America, not even America, South America. Wonder what their motive was for that. Then came right on through the border. So now we are attracting people from other continents that aren't even connected to the U.S. And they got enough resources to pay to do all of that to get here. And yet Mucus is sitting there, that people are displaced, the system is broken. You broke it. And that's why he's about to break your nose.
Agree or disagree with that?
Senator, there are many different concepts that you articulated in the statement preceding the question you posed to me. The asylum system needs to be reformed from top to bottom.
There we go.
All right, I'm glad to be able to jump in on that. It's been interesting. A lot of people don't know this, that a lot of people are coming across the border. They're remaining to go through a series of hearings for something called withholding. That is a number that's rapidly rising as well. Are there changes needed and clarification to be able to make sure that decisions can be made faster on the issue of withholding?
Yes, Senator, you were speaking of withholding of removal.
Yes.
It is one element. The companion element is the Convention Against Torture. Our system needs to be able to work efficiently and expeditiously while not compromising due process.
How do we deal with recalcitrant countries as well? You've dealt with that in Venezuela, for instance, as you mentioned earlier. We're now 1 year into the Venezuela program. If we go back a year ago, we had about 22,000 Venezuelans that are coming through in a month.
Watch this uppercut that's coming. Watch this uppercut that's about to come, and Mucus is about to walk right into it. So now here his response to that example of all these Indians and people coming from other countries. His response, the system needs to be revamped from top to bottom. Who broke it, Mucus? I mean, on record, if we would have actually executed the asylum rules and laws, this would have never happened. Something changed that allowed these people to come and apply for asylum for stupid reasons. And you did that, your administration. Y'all changed what qualifies as asylum. So what you talking about, the system needs to be revamped from top to bottom? No, you just need to execute the laws on the books. Hold people accountable. If your butt somehow gets to our border talking about, I want to apply for asylum, and you tell me, well, I came all the way from this country, and I go, that's not even in like our hemisphere. That's like overseas. How did you get here? Okay. If you tell me I'm here to apply for asylum and you don't walk through 3 or 4 countries in South America, and my first question would be, well, okay, when you got to this country, what did they say? Oh, I didn't want to stay there. Well, then see, that's your problem. See, I thought you were fleeing for your life. I thought this was an emergency. This ain't a hotel. This ain't one of those, I need a place to stay. What though? No, your room is too small. I don't like that one. It's cold outside. It's raining, and wolves are chasing me. But you got anything a little more comfy? I want some bigger. Is there a refrigerator in there filled with ham? No? Well, let me go on to the next one as I flee for my life. That's how it's said. This is how simplistic this is. These examples that I'm giving off the top of my dome are that simplistic that if you were smart, you would listen to that and say, none of this makes sense. This dude's, he is a scammer. All of them. This is a planned system that they have broken.
This past September, we had 66,000 in a month that came across.
And what happened?
You've now made an agreement with Venezuela. They're accepting people back. And as you mentioned before, the numbers
Wait a minute. Wait, why are you making deals with Venezuela, Mucus, to send their people back? That's what I want to know. I want to know why you sending the Venezuelans back. Why ain't you sending the Mexicans back? Why ain't you sending all the Hondurans back? Why ain't you sending the Africans back and the Haitians back and the Indians back and all of them and the Russians and the Chinese and all of these people? Why aren't you sending them back, Muke? Oh, okay, because the Venezuelans are going, look, man, we come in here for real asylum and we recognize real tyranny and we recognize real socialism, and we most likely, once we get our asylum, will not be voting for y'all. We think you guys should go back home. So watch what happens when you start sending them back and they realize they can't come. Something magical takes place.
Up dramatically. When suddenly we're actually not allowing people to come in, it goes from 66,000 in 1 month to when we start returning people, suddenly that number drops dramatically.
It's blowing my mind. That's blowing my mind. You mean to tell me that's able to happen? So you telling me if you simply start showing folks that you might waste all your money coming here, you might be on the hook to pay off the cartels $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 and get rejected at our border. You're telling me that would discourage people from coming? Well, that seems like something simple we could do. Seems like something simple we can do. So if we're only doing it for the Venezuelans, why can't we do it for everybody else? You think people would be jumping on those trains, dealing with the heat, taking the risk of being trafficked, kidnapped, dying in the sun, cartel killing family members, if to get all the way to the Wizard of Oz right at those big doors and they say it's closed? You think they would do that? No, what would happen is the same thing that happened under Trump. Thank you all for participating in that super chat. I see people dropping money, more money, more money, more money. Yeah, I got to do the money dance now. Do the money dance. Do the money. Money. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, sorry, I got distracted by the money. But yeah, same thing would happen under Trump. When they start realizing Trump is not playing around with this border, they were like, man, we need to wait it out. Because, see, y'all don't want to waste your money and get there and then get rejected or sent back home. So let's go ahead. When Trump's out, we'll resume our business. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened. As soon as Trump was done, shot up. Because of the idiot going, if I were them, I'd tell them, search the border. You hear that? You hear that, Jose? That's creepy sleepy. He said, search the border. So soon as Trump is gone, man, we're going to search the border. And then you get chameleon hairs. Don't come. Don't come. So now let's finish and see what Mucus has to say to this very simplistic strategy that would seem to solve the problem.
Things haven't changed in Venezuela, nope. But they've changed in how we're applying that policy, and we saw a dramatic decrease in the numbers there. So recalcitrant countries where I want to be able to start, is there a need to be able to qualify that? And the second one, is there a lesson to be learned from what's happening in Venezuela that we actually are consistent in returning people back? There's a more immediate consequence. We get an immediate drop in numbers.
Well, see, Mucus, he knows that would change everything. But no, he's not going to do that. So he's because see, remember, if climate change was that bad, I don't care that we say we're sending you back. Y'all would still be coming. These Venezuelans, what happened? They decided to just suck it up and deal with the climate change down there? Or did they realize, wait, we're not going to be permitted into the country. And if we do, we just wasted all our time and money coming. They're going to send us back. So I'm going to stay here and deal with the climate change. Now, I might burst into flames, spontaneous combustion, but hey, you know, it is what it is. We're stuck down here in this bad climate. Because if it was that bad, you would be like, I don't care. I'm still coming. You want me to burn up in this bad climate? But yeah, now we see this is all a big bull crap lie.
Senator, our model is to build lawful pathways and to deliver consequences for individuals who do not avail themselves of those lawful pathways. Our ability to repatriate individuals to the countries of origin when they do not qualify for relief under our laws is of vital importance. And what we have been able to accomplish with respect to Venezuela is a very powerful example of that.
No, it's not. It's an example of you guys wanting to get the ones out that won't become Democrat voters. That's all that is. Because if you can do that for them, why not do that for every other country? That's my question. If I was the Venezuelans, I would be suing for discrimination. I'd be like, they're discriminating against us. They're letting everybody else in, the Indians, the Haitians, the Mexicans, the Hondurans, and everybody, but not us. So why? Do you not like us? See, so to make a pathway for them to come in, why? Why do we need a pathway for anybody to come in here? I just don't get that. I mean, at what point do you say, why do we have to take in all of the world's problems? Because, see, they're not doing this because they want to solve world hunger or problems, or they want them to have a better life, because they're not even doing anything to give our homeless a better life, our veterans a better life, our poor a better life. They're not even making this type of effort to save the American citizens that are in horrific conditions. But for some reason, they decide we're going to open up our doors to every other person across the globe that wants to come here for a better life. What could be their incentive? I mean, it's not natural to do that unless there's a benefit, is it? Especially when you got problems at the crib. Now, if I'm a billionaire or a trillionaire and everything's hunky-dory in my crib, my family's fat, they're living large, and then you come to me talking about you need something, okay, I might be able to work with you. But when I'm struggling to make ends meet and I've got kids complaining about, man, I got to wear my little brother's coat today because we only got one coat and all of that mess, and the car is on its last leg and we got to hide it because they might repossess it. And then somebody come knocking on my door talking about, hey, man, can I live with you? I'm here for a better life. Would that make sense? You have no incentive to do that. Your first instinct should be, I pity what's going on with you, man, but I got to take care of my people first. My house is not in order. But these dudes, they don't care about their own house being in order. They are, for whatever reason, saying, I'd rather help these people because long run, they're going to benefit me. So now Mucus got to get knocked out again.
Okay, you asked for additional funding for detention beds there. What is the right number to be able to process individuals near the border, to be able to make decisions and to be able to respond rather than having to release so many individuals on their own recognizance?
I don't know.
And saying, we'll follow up with you in the days ahead. We don't have time to process now.
Senator, we have been employing expedited removal.
Okay.
But most people are actually not removed quickly, though they have the title expedited removal. It may be years before they're actually removed.
There it
We
is.
actually have been able to remove people under that process.
No. See how Mucus tried to dodge that big fat right that landed on his nose? Never address the fact that once you say you're here for removal, you still stick around for about a year or so. It's almost like when they first come into the country and you say, all right, here's a piece of paper. You got to come back to get your hearing. That's 3 years from now. Hopefully you remember. Don't lose that paper. Okay. Let's see where should I put it. I put it in my shoe. There we go. I probably won't lose it there. Unbelievable. So now he never even addressed what he said. He said, no, we understand all of this crap. You're trying to make it appear that we're doing stuff. There's always extra details that you leave out. So these people aren't just immediately being removed. They're sticking around. And he just blows right past that.
Expeditiously, as its title would indicate, and the additional detention beds that we have sought in our supplemental funding request is to be able to expand expedited removal consistent with the model that I outlined.
Okay, thank you.
I would not give them a dime. These agencies need to be completely defunded at the top. I would reallocate all the funds towards the actual Border Patrol. I would put them in charge of the border, the people down there on the border. I would be like, send all the funds to them. Defund the folks up in Washington. Yes, let's transfer the power to these border states and legitimate Border Patrol leaders that would do the things that could stop this, because this dude's wasting our money, wasting our time and our money and putting us at risk. That's why I want to see this next dude expose him and knock him out again.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Langford. Senator Rosen, you're recognized for your questions.
Mr. Secretary, approximately how many illegal aliens in this country or here on asylum have direct ties to Hamas, to Hezbollah, to the Islamic Jihad, or the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran?
Oh, shoot. Now, this heavy hitter got in there and went in a different direction. He ain't coming in there with the smooth style like the last dude, you know what I'm saying? He coming in throwing bolo, going straight to the ribs, man. He going to the big stuff, the big rides. He's like, how many of these people got terrorist ties, huh? Because this is the stuff Americans need to know. I would hate to think that I might be riding next to somebody on a bus and out of nowhere I hear, Allah Akbar! Now I got to jump on him and try to choke him out before he pull whatever. I don't want to have to worry about that. And I'm not stereotyping all Arabs, okay? I'm talking about the radical ones that we cannot screen and don't even know if they're in our country, running around. That's the last thing you want to hear, wherever you at. You in a store, you anywhere. You hear, Allah Akbar, just start running. Don't even look back. Dang on, it's like gunfire in a black neighborhood. As soon as we're pop, digging. We don't care where it's coming from. We could be running towards it, just running. Then after you get safe, you be looking around like, oh man, what was that? So if I hear Allah Akbar, I'm bouncing. First instinct, bounce. So now these are serious questions, right? Because we're talking about the safety of American citizens. Let's see how Mucus addresses this.
Senator Marshall, let me assure you that the individuals that pose a risk to our national security are our highest enforcement priority. The safety and security of the American public.
Do you have any idea how many numbers, what those numbers are? Is it tens? Is it hundreds? Is it
I have
thousands?
no idea.
An individual who poses a risk to our national security
That's not the
is our
question.
highest enforcement priority. And if
Did you hear him answering the question without answering the question? How many, because I know you understand the English language, how many of these people have posed a risk? I assure you that they are the highest priority, the people. That's not what I'm asking you. See, you don't want to tell me that. You don't want to come out and say, the 15,000 of them, because then the shock value would set in to all Americans. What? Y'all let all of those people come in and they might pose a risk? What are y'all doing? Now, I might be a liberal, but I want to live. So I'm not voting for those people anymore. So what does he do? He just says, in theory, these people are our highest priority and all of that stuff. But you're not telling him what he wants to hear.
I don't know the answer to the question.
And if detention is indeed warranted by reason of the risk they present,
This guy
then
sucks.
we indeed detain them.
Do you have an answer for my question?
No, I don't.
I have answered your question.
I have answered your question. So I got, in theory, a system in place that I don't know how it's working because I don't have any data, apparently. The system that's in place ensures that if we find somebody who is a threat, then we will. So you're telling me you didn't find anybody? That's what it is? Everybody's hunky-dory? Everybody is safe because you ain't caught not one person. Because, see, for you to say that they're our highest priority and we all listen to that, one of two things is happening. Either you don't understand the question the man is asking, or you haven't caught anybody that might pose a risk. It's like, well, we got this system in place, but don't worry, it's working perfectly because we haven't even caught nobody. How would you catch somebody? How would you vet somebody? How do you vet people that are coming from countries all across the globe and they don't have paperwork, they don't have nothing, no backgrounds, anything? You can't. He knows that. And that is why he's just saying, if we feel that a person gives a threat, how do you feel that? Do you just get an intuition? Huh? Does the force tell you? This is unbelievable that they're putting our lives at risk. And this man is dodging the question.
And I asked you how many have direct ties to Hamas, Hezbollah, Islam Jihad.
Senator, if an individual is identified as having a nexus to one of those organizations, we would consider them a risk.
If he's just reading the bylaws, in section 3, it says, if a individual appears to have connections to a terrorist, we will, well, we already know it's on paper. He's asking, how many people have you comprehended or identified? And what would be the method of identifying these people? Oh, he needs a kick up the butt.
To our national security and take appropriate enforcement action to include, for example, detention and removal.
Let's back up. Will DHS and when will DHS disclose the countries of origin of people arrested by Border Patrol on the terrorist watch list?
Never.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, Senator?
Yep. Will DHS and when will DHS disclose the countries of origin of people arrested by Border Patrol on the terrorist watch list?
If you are referring, Senator, to the terrorist screening data set, just to be precise, I would be pleased to speak with you in the appropriate context. This would not be it.
How many gotaways did CBP record in fiscal year 2023?
I believe, Senator, that number is over 600,000. And as I'm sure you are well aware, the phenomenon of gotaways is something that has been a challenge for the Department of Homeland Security.
Why, Mucus? Tell us, oh wise Mucus. 600,000. Now I wonder how many of those 600,000 fall into the category as the threat to the homeland, the possible ties to a terrorist country, and that how many of those, Mucus? If you don't even have those people in custody, they don't know where they're at. How's your little plan working out? Huh? How's your little bylaws that says if this happened, then we will do this? But you have no way of finding out. You got 600,000 people running around and then got the nerve to say, as you can see this as a challenge. It's always been a challenge for a long time with getaways. Why did it increase under your watch? Why do we have over 600,000 getaways? Because of you, Mucus. You know what happens when you tie up all of our resources to process your precious illegal immigrants coming in? Huh? Yeah, remember back in the day, the getaways had to actually work. They had to work for it. They were scared. They were dodging helicopters and spotlights and cameras. They were doing that. Those were the good old days. But now you got them all occupying a whole heap of the Border Patrol down there processing people. Come up, step up next. Sorry, have a seat, relax, we'll get you in. So once I come into America, what can I do? Where can I go? Anywhere. Anywhere. It's pretty much like you already lived here all your life. Just go ahead. What's your name? It doesn't matter. Put your name down here. I trust you since you don't have any way of proving who you are anyway. And while they're doing that, the Getaways are skipping across our border. 600,000. Now that sounds like an invasion. What if all 600,000 of those were, North Koreans, Russians? We don't know. Chinese? No idea. Iranians? No idea. This guy should be fired and prosecuted, but they can't fire him because he's doing exactly what they want him to do. And that's why they all should be fired and prosecuted.
34 decades. In fact, it is a powerful example.
Y'all hear that? Yeah. See, whenever I'm exposed to be incompetent at my job, I would then now try to compare to historical information and data that I am the worst. My stats supersede all of the past data. Don't try to compare it to the past talking about that's always been a problem with getaways. Not 600,000. Not 600,000, not 6 million crossing the border under one president. It was a trickle effect, sometimes more, sometimes less. But now it is a free-for-all. It's a flood. This ain't a drip. And you're the factor.
Of a broken immigration system.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about Chinese nationals for a second.
Chinese?
Would you agree with me that over 18,000 Chinese nationals, many are military-aged young men, have illegally crossed the southern border in fiscal year 2023?
Senator, I don't have the precise number, but
why not? You should be waking up looking at a chalkboard every morning at how many Chinese crossed that border because I'm responsible for keeping the homeland safe. And China is one of our biggest adversaries, and they are trying to take over the world and our position on the global stage. So it is important to know who's in our country from China. Would China be so relaxed to allow us to skirt across their borders? We'd be shot on sight. But here's this idiot. I don't have those exact numbers. Why not?
As I said, individuals who are encountered are placed into immigration enforcement proceedings, and if they qualify for asylum...
With all due respect...
What would make them qualify? There should be nothing in the world that should make Chinese nationals qualify for asylum, because they will tell you anything, Mucus. When you guys set it up to where anything flies to get into the country, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to do exactly what the rest of the illegal immigrants are doing. Yes, I am here to apply for asylum. I am being persecuted in China and global warming and something else they told me to say. That's what they're going to do. And how are you going to be able to say, all right, what's your name? Ma Fu Yi. All right, Ma Fu Yi. You got anything on your... No. I don't have any papers. All right, Ma Fu Yi, I got to trust you. Go ahead in. Okay, thank you. That's what's happening. So what is he talking about? When people are coming from aggressive countries like China, you have to assume the worst. Why are you sneaking into our border? How did you get from China to South America? These are questions that Mucus apparently is not able to understand and not asking. You go all the way from China, instead of going straight to our airports and say, I landed right here in New York and I want asylum. For some reason, you sneak all the way down to South America to come across our border. If it's a country that is hostile towards us, not one citizen should be allowed in here for asylum because they could be playing you. I mean, it's that simple. You don't realize that? How do you decipher the ones you think they're going to say, I'm a Chinese national and I'm here to spy on you? I come to destroy things in America. You think terrorists are going to come and be like, yes, I come to America because I want to blow up things and I want to show the infidels that Allah rules. You think that's what would happen? They will come in and say, thank you very much, America. You saved life. I come to America because they're going to do that. So how about you just say, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, you're coming from a country that hates ours. So how about you go back?
You would agree with me, it's over 18,000 though.
18,000.
The number at my disposal.
Do you know where the Chinese nationals are settling?
No, I don't.
Where they're working, why they're here? How do you follow them?
Senator, if an individual has fled China and seeks asylum
for what?
And qualifies for asylum,
How?
For example, if they fear persecution,
I understand
by
that.
reason of their membership in a particular social group.
How do you follow?
You think China is actually letting that amount of people just escape their country? Jump on planes? You think the police state of China is not monitoring all of them? If the person that is leaving or escaping is under that type of persecution, they're probably under surveillance. They're probably being watched and monitored. So you're telling me under all of this persecution, 18,000 of them were able to say, oh, what, we're just going on a quick trip. We'll be right back. Not Kim Jong-un, but Chi. We'll be right back. Where are you going? To visit my family. What family? The ones from, okay, we're trying to escape. There will be no escape. It's probably close to what North Korea does. So what are you talking about? 18,000 folks somehow escaped China, came over here, and what excuse would they give to get into our country? This is so ridiculous, man. This is so dangerous. And here this fool is up here, for example.
Oh, that's not my question. How do you follow them? Do you have a heightened concern for these people?
So, Senator, if an individual poses a risk to public safety or national security.
How do you know? You find out too late after state secrets are sold or sent back? If an individual poses a risk, how would you know that? If you don't have backgrounds on these people, you find out real time. That's what happens. Oh, I didn't know he was a risk until he blew up something. I didn't know he was a risk until he stole the nuclear secrets. That's how you find out, because you can't find out up front. So how about you just eliminate the possibility by not letting them come? What a dummy.
They are deemed a priority and can be placed in detention if the facts so warrant. If indeed we determine,
and you don't even know where they're at,
our law enforcement discretion, that detention is not required because they do not present.
We understand all that, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. I want to go back to gotaways. I'm sure you'll agree with me that under Mr. Biden, that at least 1.7 million gotaways have evaded apprehension at our border. How many?
Did y'all hear that? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is what gets me, man. This is the stuff that makes me want to rip a telephone book in half with my feet. That's how mad I am. Could do it with my feet. 1.7 million getaways running around the country somewhere. Who knows? And Mucus, I don't know where they're at, but if they pose a risk, if something should happen, then I will go ahead and put them on a list after it happens.
How many of these known gotaways have convictions in their prior country for rape or murder? How many of these known gotaways have been prosecuted and deported?
3 points, Senator. Number one, as I articulated earlier in this hearing, we are seeing a number of displaced individuals throughout our hemisphere that is unprecedented.
Running it, recycling.
Number one.
Recycling the swinging wild, nothing but windmills and a limp wrist. That one, I'd feel dumb. That's what he should be saying. 2, look at you. So now here he is talking about we got displacement, the same things. Not giving the source of all of this stuff, not really telling anybody why, for some reason, all this displacement seemed to all drive people to our country. What's the factor there? Why are they all coming our way? So now he's going to recycle his talking points.
Number 2, we are dealing with a broken immigration
Oh
system.
God, see another recycle. You see the recycling? The displacement everywhere. Nobody just say, all they got to do is say, why is there's displacement everywhere? What are the reasons for that? Oh, I didn't expect you to ask me that. Let me think what they told me to say. There is climate change, and then there is gang violence, and there is none of that's a reason to come to America for asylum. That's what I would be doing. I would be hammering that dude's big fat nose with those questions. But then he comes out and says, the system is broken, that I broke.
Number 3.
But you're not going to answer my question.
Number 3, if an individual...
How many of these known gotaways have committed crimes in the United States since you were sworn in?
Let me assure you that if an individual poses a risk to public safety...
You see him recycling it? This dude has no idea. And if he did, he would never tell. If he knew right now that after all 1.7 million that got away, that's not including the ones that got processed in and probably committed something, and judges, Soros-backed judges, let them go. Slap on the wrist, sanctuary city suppressed all of the data. We don't want everybody knowing that violence and drugs and all that stuff is coming from this. Dang on it. So they kind of get a pass. We don't want to bring attention to all the negative things that come out of illegal immigration. So let's just go ahead and keep this one off the books. Instead of deporting you, we're going to give you a slap on the wrist and say, don't do it again. Until you finally kill somebody, finally do something so bad that we have to arrest you and send you back. But all the little things, we don't want people, those are little things. We don't want to care about those things. So here this bum is sitting up here recycling an individual that's not giving us data. That's not telling us how you are tracking 1.7 million people walking around our country that you don't even know where they are. And talking about something, if an individual pops up on our list, how can they pop up on your list if you don't know where they are?
Safety pursuant to the enforcement guidelines.
But you have no ability to measure that?
Pursuant to the
No, he
enforcement guidelines that I promulgated on September 30th of 2021, the individual is...
How many of these known gotaways are trafficking fentanyl?
He's giving it to him. Mucus is trying to fight back. And the one talking point that I have to say, how many of those are trafficking fentanyl? Wait a minute. Let me think what they told me to say this time. Mucus is the worst. Garlic too. Oh, the whole Democrat Party is the worst. They don't give a darn about us. So now let's see how many of these people, these gentle woodland creatures, might be trafficking fentanyl.
Individual is an enforcement priority.
How many of these known gotaways are trafficking fentanyl?
Senator, we
He's
well
gonna blame
know
it on us.
that the trafficking of fentanyl is not specific to a nationality.
Nobody said that. Why are you talking about nationalities? Huh? So now you're going to make it seem like, hey, don't stereotype these people. That sounds a little racist and a little misogynistic and a little xenophobic and a little homophobic and all of that mess. Nobody cares what nationality they are. And then watch this next excuse.
Tragically, we have individuals from various countries of origin. We have American citizens trafficking in fentanyl.
Blame it on us. We have American citizens trafficking in fentanyl. Why? How are they doing that? Where are they getting it from? Huh? Are they flying directly to China to get it? Or could it be that China sends it down to South America and then the Americans pick it up and bring it here or whatever? But what he's failing to realize is that the Americans aren't down there in South America receiving this stuff. They're the last end of it. So they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't because of our open borders. If I'm an American trafficker, I'm just sitting across the open border going, all right, hurry up. I'll meet you at the place where it's wide open because the border patrol's down there processing people. All right, you got the stuff. Thanks. I'll be back next week for another package. But yet he wants to blame it on Americans. He wants to, displace the blame, distribute it amongst everybody. Hey, don't focus on the illegal immigrants. Everybody's dealing drugs. Come on, what does that have to do with anything?
Fentanyl is a scourge that we must all work together to overcome.
Okay, let's talk about the 169 individuals encountered on the terror watch list between the ports of entry in fiscal year 2023. How many were deported? How many are jailed? How many are still in the country?
Senator, with respect to the individuals on the terrorist screening data set, I would be pleased to provide you with the numbers in the appropriate context.
And I bet you in appropriate context, it'd be the same thing. Behind closed doors, we are fighting hard. We are definitely, if anybody pops up on that list, same thing.
Of the over 75,000 special interest aliens who crossed our border illegally this fiscal year, what are their whereabouts? How are you tracking these people?
Have no idea.
Ways of tracking them, Senator. If in fact they present a national security or public safety threat, we very well may detain them. If we do not believe that detention is appropriate, we have alternatives to detention. It's known by its acronym ATD, and we have various levels of supervision depending on the enforcement profile that the individual presents.
Okay.
Man, I want to put the whole administration, matter of fact, just throw the whole Democrat Party on a big fat rocket. Shoot them off to a liberal planet somewhere. They can have their own planet to destroy. They can let Martians come onto their planet. They can let all kind of people just, we're now going to embrace the grays and the tall whites and the small grays and tall grays and let them all come. All right. But don't be messing around destroying our country with stupidity like we're hearing. Come out of this, dude.
The folks back home, when they look at the evidence, they see that the DEA seized over 380 million doses of fentanyl in 2022. 73,000 Americans died from fentanyl poisoning in 2022, mostly young adults, school-aged children, and that 90% of the fentanyl comes from our southern border. Considering that just last month, our Border Patrol had almost 270,000 encounters, including 75,000 special interest aliens. Do Americans feel they're more safe today or less safe today because of the policies of this administration?
Senator, we are taking it to the cartels, to the traffickers of fentanyl in an unprecedented way.
Woo! That one gets me every time. And you know who else it gets? Hola, Mucus, it's the cartel. Hey, man, I'm watching you in your hearings. You're hilarious. You're lying to all those people, telling them you're taking it to us. You're not taking anything to us, Mucus. We're taking a lot of illegal immigrants to you. Yes, we have a lot more coming, okay? Now, remember, don't stop our fentanyl, okay? All right? We give you illegal immigrants. You give us the fentanyl, okay, man? Okay, Mucus, adios. Continue to keep us laughing, okay? That's what's happening. That's what's happening. We are taking it to the cartel as they're making even more money and bringing more fentanyl than ever before. No evidence to show that the cartel is even moved slightly by the Mucus administration.
More resources and more efficient and productive operations than ever before.
But you would agree with me that Americans feel less safe today than they did before the start of this administration. And your testimony has always solidified the view that American people, that they don't have confidence in the job that you're doing. This is why I believe the defining issue in this next election is going to be exactly this. Are our families safer today than they were 3 years ago?
Secretary Mayorkas, I think you're familiar with my chart. I started developing this as chairman of this committee. Dates back quite a few years now. It's changed over the years.
Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me turn this up. Make sure we can all hear this one. Because Mucus about to get the business again, y'all. He's about to get it. Let's see. Let me go here. Right there. Now you seen how the sausages are made? Okay. Right here. Turn it up just a little bit. Right about there. And
titled Southwest Border in Apprehensions. That's back in the good old days when we actually apprehended, detained, and oftentimes deported. For some reason, well, I know the reason, that under your administration, you've changed it now to encounters. So now It's titled Southwest Border Encounters because now we encounter, we process, and disperse. And it seems like your solution to the self-inflicted wound to America
is what?
Is we've just got more efficient at processing.
Ooh, now this dude cutting through the chase. He coming in swinging wild. He trying to knock mucus out. Every punch got everything behind it. Swinging hard to the point where he falling forward. So he's saying, look, man, y'all done change up definitions, encounters. See, things like that. Soften up those definitions. Instead of saying illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, no, these people are simply undocumented citizens. That's all they are. There you go. See, we'll go ahead and switch it up. Change up these definitions. Change up the regulations. Change up the process for people to come in and the requirements. There you go. Change up those requirements. And then this way we can focus on processing them in. Not rejecting them. Not making them feel unwanted. Not denying them the American dream. We won't want to do that. We wouldn't want them to feel like they were actually illegal. So we'll just say encounters. And he's calling this bull crap out.
I can't quite honestly think of a greater threat to America than what is represented by this chart. And this chart represents this administration's open border policy. It's a travesty.
It is. He went from swinging straight to hammers. Dropping hammers on him. So yes, that is true. This is the most dangerous thing to the homeland right now. Yeah, I'll just say the Democrats. Yeah, because see, this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the Democrat Party. So it's not these illegal immigrants that I'm focused on. It is the people who created this problem, along with some globalists in other countries. There's a whole bunch of folks that probably is behind this. So now let's finish hearing Mucus get his butt beat again.
Director Ray, you said in your testimony, the threats, they're not getting any easier to deal with. Would having a secure border, would that make your job easier?
Well, I will let Secretary America speak for border security,
Why?
but I will tell you.
Why, Ray? Why, Raggedy? Are you afraid to go ahead and call your boy out? He knows that Ray got this. I mean, he knows that Mucus got the border blue. Well, I won't speak for how I let him address that. Don't drag me into this, but I will say this.
That the threats that we have to contend with that are attributed to the border, cartel violence, distribution of fentanyl, et cetera, are major
The answer is yes.
Thank you.
Your job would be a whole lot easier if you weren't having to deal with over 70,000 special interest aliens coming from countries that are of concern to us. Your job would be a whole lot easier if this year we hadn't encountered 169 people on the terror watch list. Secretary Mayorkas, I've asked you this in the past. What numbers are represented here? How many people has this administration let in by encountering, processing, dispersing, or that have come in as a known or unknown Getaway?
Now he's about to make Mucus tap out. He's about to disrespect Mucus on a whole nother level. Just like, man, you know what? Get out the way. Get out the way. You're useless. Because that's exactly what he is. He's useless. Now, look at these serious numbers. This board behind him should be embarrassing to Mucus. He should be looking at these numbers and going, wow, how would I explain that? How can I justify my job? How can I say I'm good at what I do? And all of these horrific numbers are there. How many times can I keep saying displacement and the system is broken and the government needs to do something, Congress needs? How many times can I keep doing that?
Well, approximately. I don't need an exact number. So what do we got?
Senator, let me say.
I need numbers. Again, don't filibuster me. How many people has this administration led into the country?
Let me say at the outset that our job would be a lot easier if the broken immigration system was fixed.
Mr. Secretary, I want a number. How many people have you led into the country?
I should also.
I'll give you the number. It's about 6 million.
Woo! Mucus, man. Mucus. I know this got to be the worst part of his job. That have to go up there and know he's going to get slammed. Today I got to go up and take a beating again because I'm the worst at my job ever.
So kids and honey, don't watch the show today because I'm going to get slaughtered on TV and I don't want that embarrassment.
So now he's asking them how many, and all this me, I like to say that the men and women at the same stuff. So now he's getting to a point where he's like, look, we're not going to get nothing out of this guy. Here we go.
1.7 million
1.7
as known gotaways. Now, again, we don't know who these people are.
No idea.
We just know that they've come to this country and they're residing somewhere. Where are all these people residing?
No idea.
Where did the 6
Probably
million
next
people
door
go?
to me.
Senator, you speak of encounters, and let me share
would you
with
answer my questions? Where did these 6 million people go? Are you keeping track of them? To what extent do we have a handle on where these 6 million people are in America?
Senator, as you well know, when an individual is indeed released, they are released into immigration enforcement proceedings and are subject to removal if they do not have a legal basis to remain in the United States.
None of that answered the question. Where are all the people? You don't even know where the kids are. We got missing kids. And here he is going back there, as you all know, that you're describing something in theory, you big, nasty bag of dirt ball, doo-doo, mosque, stinking possum, guts, nasty, funky, chicken, scratch, dang on, doo-doo, brown, dumpster, juice, gangrene, snagger, tooth, pus having, mucus, you got the nerve to be up here talking about some, repeating the same stuff. Knowing that the important stuff that Americans are concerned about, like the numbers, he's dodging. Where are they? Well, you just have to find out once they do something. That's when you'll find out where they are, and that's when I will find out too, because I have no idea. Unbelievable.
You're not answering the question. Where do these people reside? We know we've got about 100,000 in New York, and New York Mayor Adams says it will destroy New York. That's, by the way, less than 2% of the 6 million people. So less than 2%, 100,000 is going to destroy New York.
Okay.
What's happening around the country?
I don't know.
I'm not going to get answers from Secretary Mayorkas.
Thank you. That's how you got to treat mucus. Irrelevant. Yeah, it's useless asking mucus. Useless to ask mucus. So here he is going around in circles in that mulberry bush. And you know what? Pop goes the weasel. And did you know I am the weasel? I'm weaseling around this bush because you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to get anything out of you. All right, let's get back to Raggedy Ray.
Dr. Ray, what are you doing to track these people and investigate the potential threat?
So we are tackling it through a variety of means. There are some categories I would put kind of in the terrorist watch list category, and there it's our joint terrorism task forces that are working with partners throughout the law enforcement community to try to identify.
So how many agents do you have tasked to investigate potential terror threats coming into this country and those 6 million people, and particularly the 1.7 million gotaways? How many agents are on investigating that flow of illegal immigrants?
Well, I don't know that I can give you the exact number, but let me try it this way.
Is it 100? Is it a couple hundred? Is it, just a ballpark?
Well, I would say we have several hundred agents who are tackling the threats that come from the border, both from a national security side, a counterterrorism side, and from an organized crime or violent crime side.
So how does that compare to the number of agents you had on, for example, investigating the January 6th?
Oh, he managed to slide in a judo chop to Raggedy Ray. Yeah, man. So here you are running around chasing grandmas, locking up folks, having raids being done on all of those folks, using precious resources to use facial recognition to track down folks, even though you couldn't find that Bigfoot Ray Epps. Yeah, he would have got away with it if it wasn't for the people in the audience recording him, talking about tomorrow. Yeah, the Bigfoot would have got away with it. Not to mention, apparently, the pipe bomber got away with it too. All that facial recognition and technology can't track down him. So, where are all those agents, huh? See? So let's see what he says.
Protesters. How many agents, at the height of that investigation, how many FBI agents were assigned to that task force?
I don't have exact numbers, but what I would tell you is that I feel relatively confident that the number of agents working on threats that are attributable to the border far exceeds the number of people working on the January 6th investigation.
What about the height of the January 6th investigations?
Same answer.
Same deal, okay. Mr. Secretary Mayorkas, what is the average or the range of trafficking fees? I mean, because, by the way, we have a 100% secure border on the Mexican side, right?
Isn't that odd?
Very few people are crossing into this country without going through human traffickers. So they have to pay a trafficking fee. What is that range of trafficking fees?
When you speak of
Yeah, because see, that's amazing that the dang on cartel got better border control than we do. Nobody's sneaking across the Mexican border to get into our country. They don't have to. They don't have to sneak when it comes down to us. See, they don't have to sneak. They really are running a risk if they try to come across here without paying that cartel. Now, that's the risk. That's some border patrol. We need to be doing a workshop with the cartel to figure out, what are you guys doing? How are you able to do this? You got like 100% effective rate. Oh, no, nobody ever crosses. We make sure that these people know we mean business. You're not going to the United States unless you go to us first. Isn't that odd? So how are they able to do it? How are they able to do it?
a trafficking center, you mean smugglers?
No, I'm talking about the human traffickers. You know, the people coming across here are paying what, a $7,000 fee, a $10,000.
Mucus don't know. He don't even know what the wristbands mean.
So how do they pay that off? How does a young woman pay off $10,000 to $15,000 human trafficking fee?
Tragically, Senator, they often spend their entire life savings to pay a smuggler.
Well, they also tragically get put into the human sex trade, correct?
There are all sorts.
Director Ray, are you investigating that? Are we busting up some of we saw The Sound of Freedom, that movie.
This dude's fighting both of them.
What investigations are you doing in terms of the sex trade that is going on because of the Biden administration's open border policy?
Oh, I like that jab he slid in there. What are you doing to stop this because of the Biden open border policy that's enabling all of this sex trafficking? Encouraging these people to spend their whole life savings to get here because they're escaping climate change. There you go. So now he's jumping both these. Like, I'll take on all of you, both of you raggities. Let's go.
A number of task forces that are focused on human trafficking, especially sex trafficking, all across the country. And last year we rounded up, I think, maybe 1,000 or so predators of that sort. And so that's probably the main vehicle through which we're tackling this, which is a significant problem.
Of the 73,000 special interest aliens coming from these countries that are concerned to ours, how many of those people are you keeping track of? What happens to them? Are we detaining them? Are we deporting them? Or are we granting them asylum?
We don't know.
Well, as to deportation and asylum, I would leave that to the agencies that handle that.
You're aware of the 73,000 special interest aliens, correct?
But I'm aware of special interest aliens. I don't have the numbers.
What are you doing to track them?
So if we have a appropriately predicated investigation, then those people are squarely within scope of those investigations.
Now, how's it that American citizens cannot escape the FBI, but illegal immigrants can? That's what blows my mind. I mean, do you understand as an American citizen how hard it is to commit a crime and the FBI not bust you or find you? They're able to track us down in so many ways. So we got 1.7 million illegal immigrants running around the country. We got special interest people. We got Chinese nationalists. We don't know where they are. All of that stuff. And yet, if you got tax evasion, they'll find you. A little tax evasion, they'll track you down. Mess around, knock off a liquor store. They'll find you within a couple days. But all of these people running around having a good time. Almost want to denounce my citizenship, go all the way down to Mexico, come back in under an alias so I could live a crime-free life. Meaning nobody ever does anything to me if I commit a crime because now my name is Pepe Jose Gonzalez Fernando Suarez. That's what I'm now named as. And I can just walk about the United States and do whatever. And they won't keep tracking me. It's unbelievable.
I mean, active investigations do you have on 73,000 special interest aliens?
I don't have that number here. I can see if that's something we can get for you and follow up.
You can expect a QFer on that one. Thanks.
Oh, wait, who's next? Now,
Director Ray. I'm assuming you've seen and read the letter that Senator Grassley wrote to
Raggedy
you
Ray's
and
on the
Attorney
line.
General Garland on October 24th.
I'm generally aware of it.
Oh, you ought to read it. Let me read some segments to you.
You hear that? Raggedy Ray, I'm generally aware of it. You ought to read it. Because now, right about now, you're in the ring, Raggedy. You're in the ring. So let's hear Raggedy Ray and see if he does better than Mucus.
The FBI maintained over 40 confidential human sources that provided criminal information related to Joe Biden, James Biden, and Hunter Biden.
Creepy.
An essential question that must be answered in this: did the FBI investigate the information or shut it down? Certainly, there's a host of reasons to conclude that they attempted to shut it down. It goes on. It has been alleged that the basis for shutting down the investigative activity, shutting it down, was an August 2020 assessment created by FBI Supervisory Intelligence Analyst Brian Auten. That assessment was used by FBI headquarters team to improperly discredit negative Hunter Biden information as disinformation and cause investigative activity to cease. It goes on. Analyst Brian Auten opened the aforementioned assessment, which was used by the Foreign Influence Task Force to seek out CHS holdings at FBI field offices across the country relating to the Biden family and falsely discredit them as foreign disinformation. My staff calls that catch and kill. And by the way, it was that same task force that gave Senator Grassley and I our unsolicited briefing that was later leaked to the media to smear me and impact my 2022 election.
Oh, my. Now, it appears that this man is laying down an airtight case. I'm briefly aware of it. Oh, well, you should have read it. But since you didn't read it, Raggedy, let me read it and see your reaction to this, see? Apparently, these things are important under your administration. If this stuff is going on and it's running amok, you would think you would know all the details, right? You would think these would be number one priorities if you found out you had this type of corruption and bias in your department. You wouldn't be vaguely knowing about it. I mean, I heard something about it and just casual. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was watching, I woke up, I was brushing my teeth and shaving, and I was listening in the background of New York news or something like that. Says I heard, I was like, honey, what are they talking about in there? But I didn't get the gist. So now, as he's laying all of this out, watch what Raggedy says.
Senator Grassley concludes, there appears to be an effort within the Justice Department and FBI to shut down investigative activity relating to the Biden family. Such decisions point to significant political bias infecting the decision-making of not only the Attorney General and FBI Director, but also line agents and prosecutors. Our republic cannot survive such a political infection.
We can't.
And you have an obligation to this country to clear the air. Let me ask another, and by the way, I'd ask that this unanimous consent that this letter
Put that mess in there.
enter the record. And
Put it in there. Put it in.
This column that appeared in the Wall Street Journal published yesterday. Have you read this one? More on the stifled Hunter Biden probe.
Kind of.
I have seen that.
Okay, we'll enter that in the record. Again, this is column is written based on the October 23rd Judiciary Committee interview with former U.S. Attorney Scott Brady, who was tapped by Attorney General Barr to vet information related to Ukrainian corruption
and what happened?
And pass along credible material to offices with ongoing investigations. I'll get some highlights here.
Give me some highlights.
The FBI office in Pittsburgh couldn't take any steps without the review and approval of FBI headquarters.
Oh.
Mr. Brady describes a reluctant...
So wait a minute. Don't stop. Wait a minute. Don't stop. So now you telling me that when they were on Hunter Biden's tail with all of this evidence and that laptop, they had to call all the way up to Washington to find out, can we pursue something that's very obvious? We got all this evidence down here, Raggedy Ray. What should we do with it? Don't do nothing. What? But it's obvious we can go, don't do nothing with it. Why? Why? Huh, Papa? Why? So here we go. He's going ahead and laying it down of all the FBI corruption. But remember, though, they don't need to be dismantled.
Reluctance on the part of the FBI to really do any tasking related to allegations of Ukrainian corruption broadly, and then specifically anything that intersected with Hunter Biden and his role in Burisma. FBI headquarters had to sign off on every assignment, no matter how small or routine, and that this sometimes required 17 different people, mostly at the headquarter level. Mr. Brady said he'd never in his DOJ career seen anything like it.
Me?
Mr. Brady says his office was informed by members of the Pittsburgh FBI team that they'd been instructed by headquarters not to affirmatively share information with the Brady team. He said he was surprised to learn that the FBI possessed the Hunter Biden laptop since 2019. He
Since
heard that
2019. Now, Ray, did you not know about all of this happening under your watch? I'm just curious. See, these are the things that are very hard to explain. And you get that nasty thing up there, sitting there, I'm familiar with it. So you're telling me that for some reason, now notice, when certain stuff takes place in the field that is questionable, and they ask, did you know that your FBI was going to heavily raid this man and his family was there? Y'all brought all these people heavy-handedly. Well, I trust the men and women in the field to do what they are supposed on the ground level. They know what they need. Same thing. All these situations where the FBI did something for shock value, and then they question Ray. I trust the men and women on the field. They know it. But now all of a sudden, they don't trust the men and women on the field. All of these people were saying, look at all this corruption, man. You know what? We can go and handle this. Nah, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Every single thing needs to go through us. But why would you want that? You don't trust them now? Oh, it's because you can screen it. Then to come to find out you had that laptop since 2019. Unbelievable. And sat on it.
through public reports. Senator Grassley's letter concludes that he has obtained names from his whistleblower, 25 Department of Justice FBI personnel, to interview at a future date, and he's also requesting a bunch of information. Will you provide those FBI personnel for interviews with his office in mind, and will you provide those documents?
Well, I'll have to review the specific requests, and we'll see how we can be helpful.
Okay, well, I'll hand you this letter. Final point I want to make. I was briefed a couple of weeks ago by members of the FBI on what Senator Blumenthal are doing to try and unredact a lot of the information on the 9/11 event, okay? Now, the briefers seem to be people of integrity, like I think the vast majority of the men and women that work in the FBI, the 38,000 field agents. So again, they were people with integrity. The problem is that they gave me three different examples of redacted and then unredacted to explain it. And the redactions made sense of those three examples, but I had to make the point. The problem I have is I simply cannot trust what the FBI is providing me. And I don't say that with any joy in my heart. That's a travesty. The American people want to believe and have trust in the FBI. We want credibility and integrity restored to your institution.
He said it, and I am also concurring. I cannot trust what the FBI is saying. I don't trust them at all. From the top. Not all from the bottom. I don't know. But from the top. These people have been caught in so many scandals and so many lies, so many cover-ups, all of that mess. You cannot trust them. You're telling me y'all had the information that Joe Biden was communicating with foreign actors and getting paid, and then y'all didn't even release this? Grassley had to find out. Y'all wouldn't let him see it. Then y'all finally let him see it. Didn't want to release it. No, you got an audio out there, and you won't release that. Why? You had the laptop. You knew it was legit, but for some reason, you allowed the narrative to go out there about it being Russian disinformation. You all coordinated with all of these dang on big tech companies to suppress that. Now you want us to think you guys have integrity. Y'all should be left alone. Y'all should be funded. Don't forget to remember the good men and women of that. And I'm not talking about the good ones. Unfortunately, you guys have ruined it. You infected the whole FBI. So we don't know who's good and who's bad. So when in doubt, destroy it. Rebuild something else. Now, for the sake of time, we're going to go to this exchange with Raggedy Ray and Rand Paul.
I'm happy to read you chapter and verse of all the reasons why that credibility has been destroyed.
FBI still meeting with social media companies?
We're having some interaction with social media companies, but all of those interactions have changed fundamentally in the wake of the court's ruling.
Why?
That's sort of an acknowledgement that perhaps you weren't just talking about national security, child pornography, and human trafficking, right? You had other areas of discussion that did involve constitutionally protected speech.
No.
Got him. See, He said, hey, man, y'all still talking to them social media about these? Things have changed. We definitely said, why? If you weren't doing nothing wrong, why did it have to change? Because by default, what you're saying is we changed it because we were doing things that were wrong. So Rand Paul, who was one step ahead of him, got him, and watch how he responds and try to make this nonsense make sense.
No, that's not an acknowledgement of
But
that.
then how did you change your behavior?
Out of an abundance of caution, in order to make sure that we don't run afoul of any court ruling, I would say, by the way, of course, that the injunction has been stayed by the Supreme Court.
Did anybody from the FBI ever discuss constitutionally protected speech with social media organizations?
Not to my understanding.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How do I know more than Raggedy Ray about this case? Not to my understanding. What do you understand, Raggedy? How do you live? How do you function? You're telling me the news, all of these whistleblowers, the court, all of this stuff that shows that you guys were doing this stuff and talking about this stuff, and here you are, not to my understanding. Do you not know what's going on under your big fat nose? Apparently you don't. Not to my understanding. So now Rand Paul has to remind him.
Vaccine efficacy, never discussed any post concerning vaccine efficacy.
Well, certainly not, because to my understanding, as you know, the FBI was the first and for a long time the only agency in the intelligence community to assess that the COVID origin was most likely from a lab leak. So the idea that we were engaging in...
I commend you for that, but the Twitter files and other indications, as well as the Missouri versus Biden, list many cases of both DHS and FBI discussing constitutionally protected speech, vaccine efficacy, mask efficacy. People who said, my brother got the vaccine and died yesterday, and the brother actually did die, but proof of cause and effect is one thing. But taking down posts like that was part of the discussion in these meetings.
Well, Ray didn't know about that. Thank you for telling me this, Rand Paul. I had no idea. Just waking up every day, going into the office and going, what's on the agenda today, guys? Heard anything in the news? No, boss, everything's running fine. Thanks. Going to my office and spin around in my chair. If anything exciting happens, call me. So you're telling me that you didn't see all of the Twitter files. Y'all know everything about everything. But you're telling me you didn't see them Twitter files? You're telling me you didn't see the report came out of St. Louis or wherever that was, Missouri? You're telling me you didn't read any of that stuff? You're not worried about, like, correcting issues within the department? The fact that you're being sued shouldn't make you say, man, whoa, what's going on in my department? Why are we even, who did this? Who was the person who even opened us up to this litigation right here? Bring him in my office. Why were you over there chit-chatting with the Twitter folks? That's what should be happening. That's what should be happening if he was a legitimate leader that was trying to have integrity and uphold the Constitution. But for some reason, he's very casual about it. No heads are rolling. You're telling me these people are making you look that bad in your department and nobody's being held accountable?
Not by the FBI. We would not have been engaging with social media companies about vaccine efficacy, to my knowledge, certainly.
Director Ray, in 2017, the Department of Justice issued subpoenas to members of the House Intelligence Committee, congressional staffers, as well as Senate Judiciary Committee staffers to turn over private information. Were you involved with that investigation, aware of it at the time?
I'm not familiar with that specific investigation.
This had to do with the leaks, I believe. We have never been told completely, but the leaks concerning the Crossfire Hurricane and the leaks concerning the conversation between Flynn and Kislyak that was wiretapped, that was classified, that somehow got out. But you're not aware of anybody from the Congress being investigated?
Well, as I sit here right now, that's not something that's ringing a bell for me.
Do you see a problem with the Department of Justice issuing subpoenas to congressional staffers who are providing oversight to the very organization that's issuing the subpoenas?
Well, certainly anytime there's an investigative activity that touches upon a separate branch of government, namely the legislative branch, it has to be done extraordinarily carefully. And there are all kinds of policies that the department has in place to make sure that that's done appropriately.
Director A, did the FBI pay Twitter money to moderate content moderation?
I'm not aware of us paying money to moderate content there or anywhere else.
What was the $3 million for that the FBI gave that's been revealed in
Get out of there, Ray.
which has been characterized by those writing the Twitter files as payment for content moderation? Basically, they said Twitter, you guys were meeting with them all the time and you had them taking down so many posts. They said, well, gosh, it's a lot of work. Why don't you pay us? And so
now look at Rand Paul. Look at Rand Paul slapping him all over slapping him. Backwards, upwards, downwards. I'm just going out there throwing all of these little nuggets out there, Ray. Apparently, you're not into the details. You don't remember all of these things, these facts and stuff like that. Even though all these conversations were recorded, these emails were recorded, and all of them was talking about this, and then y'all were meeting with them and then talking about hypotheticals just in case you hear something about Hunter Biden's laptop. Right, all of that. You don't know nothing about that, right? Well, I don't think we were doing any of that. We paid them some money, but I don't know what it was for. Don't you sign off on the budget? So let's go ahead and see.
you did. You paid them $3 million. Are you aware of the payment?
Well, I'm not aware of that specific payment, but I can tell you that when it comes to payments,
how does the FBI operate? How does it operate? Don't you sit down at the end of the day and go, okay, right, well, we're missing $3 million. Where'd that go to? Oh, we didn't think you were mine. We paid Twitter to help us censor and do stuff. So he's not aware of it. He's not aware of it. Now, see, if he was talking to his boss, because he disrespects Congress, he belittles their intelligence. But if he had a real legitimate boss that was holding him accountable, and he came in there and told them, well, I'm not aware of a $3 million payment. Do you understand how quick that man will be thrown out? Any CEO, CFO in the world that has $3 million paid out somewhere and they're unaware of it, didn't sign off on it, don't know what it was for, would be fired. But not him. This is the mediocrity that goes on up there in a corrupt, dang on organization. So let's finish hearing him say, I don't know nothing.
Going back well over 4 decades, when we are required by federal law, when a company, like in this instance a provider, goes through expenses to produce information, we're required to reimburse them for those expenses. And so I think that a lot of the questions about payments revolve around exactly that.
And you will repeat under oath that there was never any discussion of the FBI to take down constitutionally protected speech. You think it's all national security, child pornography, sex trafficking, no discussion of constitutionally protected speech. Because this is all going to come out, and a lot of it's come out already in depositions.
Ray, tread lightly, Raggedy, because you just got up there and said, I'm not aware of any discussions about efficacy and vaccines. In fact, we were the ones that, you just said that. Now, isn't lying to Congress illegal? So let's see if Rand Paul double traps him.
You're saying there was never any discussion by any of your agents in any of these meetings of constitutionally protected speech being taken down?
To my knowledge.
There we go. That's the outlet. To my knowledge.
Our agents conducted themselves in compliance with the law throughout.
Same question to Secretary Mayorkas. You're not aware of your agents ever discussing any constitutionally protected speech with any of the social media companies?
The same answer as Director Ray provided to you, Ranking Member Paul.
There you go. You see the two weasels? You see those two weasels right there? To my knowledge, and then dang on mucus, what he said. That's how bad mucus is. Whatever he said. See, so I hope this comes back to bite him. We all know that that's what they were doing. They even tried the whole mis and disinformation board, all that stupid stuff. But we're going to close here with Tom Cotton dropping all kind of, he's about to drop one of the most just right to the gut speeches to the Democrats that I've ever heard. It's so beautiful. It almost brought me to tears. So we almost done. Cotton, drop it. He gonna give it to him, man. Look at Rand Paul. Like, okay.
Thank you, Ranking.
Here it is, man. Give it to us.
First off, I want to agree with Senator Graham. This is partly a pretext to try to conceal the utter failures of Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. I mean, because all of you voted for $3 trillion of spending that this country didn't need and that our government can't afford. We have record high inflation. People can't afford their groceries. They can't afford gas. They can't pay the rent. Can't make car payments. The young men and women we have sitting behind us can barely walk to their apartments on Capitol Hill at night without worried about being mugged, or drive there without fear of being carjacked because of your insane criminal justice policies.
Oh my goodness, Cotton. Cotton's coming out this. I wonder if Stacey Abrams' gap between the teeth is listening to this. Because apparently Biden did a great job. He's doing a great job, and he's Bidenomics is working. Well, Cotton's not falling for it. He's talking about real life impacts of these raggedy policies and these corrupt politicians. Folks up there in Washington, as soon as you leave work, all right, I'm going to make a run for the car. Cover me. Unbelievable, because of you guys and your policies. What else about them?
Our border is totally open. Each year under Joe Biden is seeing more illegal border crossings than the last, setting record after record after record. These are not all poor, struggling migrant workers from Guatemala coming here for a better life. Thousands of people from China and Russia. Even the administration has acknowledged over 100 Uzbeks came here with the help of an ISIS-associated facilitator in Turkey.
Ooh, the truth shall set you free. He is telling the 100% truth. He's like, okay, I'm sick of playing with you dirt bags. I'm sick of this mess. I'm about to go ahead and tell you exactly what's going on around this country and how you all are connected to it, how you all have contributed to all of this. I'm sick of patty caking with you, softening the terms. I'm going to tell you what's really going on, and I'm going to tell you what's about to happen. Boy, I like this kind of talk. Preach!
Their position is, honestly, maybe it's just a coincidence that these Uzbeks used a travel agent associated with ISIS. And that's to say nothing about what's happened around the world. The collapse of Afghanistan in 2021. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust in 2023.
All under creepy sleepies watching the Democrats. But yet Trump's the worst. Trump's the worst. There's no way we could do better under Trump. See, in fact, even though I can't remember how bad it was under Trump, because it really wasn't, but I'm sure it was, because that's what my liberal brain is telling me. It was worse under Trump. I'd rather accept Biden. So now he has to remind all the bubbleheads how bad it is under Biden. All the stuff that Biden and his administration has done. None of this took place under Trump. Continue, Cotton.
All under Joe Biden's watch. I know the Democrats on this committee like to claim that the former president unleashed chaos in the world.
They do be saying that.
None of that happened on Donald Trump's watch. Maybe he offended your European friends for using the wrong fork, tea and crumpets at some point. But there's peace and stability when he was president.
Cotton dropping all kind of truth. So all you raggedy Democrats who claim Trump was the worst, he's a danger, to our democracy, and he's a threat, the clear and present threat. No. None of that happened under his watch. All the stuff I'm dropping happened under your raggedy president that y'all installed, happened under his watch. And yet, y'all talked about Trump was uncouth and he was disrespected. Okay, he didn't rub elbows with the elitists that y'all all do, the globalists. He didn't do all of that. He offended some of them because he told the truth to them. And Cotton is telling the truth to these Democrats.
So part of this is...
Sorry about that. It went out for a second, reconnected. So what did you just say? What did you just say? Part of this is what? Let's see.
At some point.
Here we go.
The collapse of Afghanistan in 2021. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust in 2023.
Look at that resume.
All under Joe Biden's watch. I know the Democrats on this committee like to claim that the former president unleashed chaos in the world.
That's what they be saying.
None of that happened on Donald Trump's watch. Maybe he offended your European friends for using the wrong fork, tea and crumpets at some point.
Tea and crumpets.
But there's peace and stability when he was president.
I missed that.
So part of this is just a pretext to cover up for your own utter failings and incompetence of the Biden administration.
That's one of those speeches that cuts you to the bone. That's that grandmama speech. You think your butt don't smell, don't you? You think your armpits don't stink? Well, it does. I'm here to tell you. That's that Uncle Ron love. Boy, you ain't worth a nickel. You know what? You're the sum total of your own choices, boy. So now, Tom Cotton is like, Oh yeah, I know what this is. To cover up for your own incompetency, your own failures. Don't stop. Give it to them.
But it's more than just that.
It's more than that.
It's not, as Senator Whitehouse says, an effort to expose wrongdoing at the Supreme Court. It's an effort to delegitimize the Supreme Court because you don't like the way they rule.
Ooh, exposing the motive is the best way to do it. We all know that the Democrats have hidden secret motives that we all know about. And what kills me is when you address the surface excuse and not go to the hidden motive. Going in, talking to Mucus and all of them about illegal immigration and the policies and this and all of that, you'll go over and over again. You'll go round and round. But when you just cut through the chase and say, you know what? This isn't about illegal immigration and people coming for a better life and climate change. This is about creating a voter base for you guys to have and to also water down red states. That's what this is about. I know you might get up here and tell us it's about that Congress needs to act and this and that, but this is a planned, coordinated act. All the stuff you're saying with your lips is a lie. That's what it is. This is what you're really up to. See, when you do that, that's when people start going, how did he know? Oh, he reading me. And that's what he's doing. He's saying, y'all don't like the way the Supreme Court rules, so you want to delegitimize them.
When you lose at the ballot box, for years, you tried to achieve in courts, which you couldn't achieve through democratic elections and legislatures. You thought the Supreme Court was your own special province. And then, when there became a center-right majority on the Supreme Court, you began to attack its very foundations. It's not some secret. It's wide out and open.
Love it. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. And they do it with all these other agencies. They co-opt these agencies and they use them as their strong arm, like they're doing with the FBI right now and the intelligence agencies and the DOJ, like they're doing with all of that. They just haven't had the chance to get their knuckles on that Supreme Court. If they get that Supreme Court, it is bad news for all of us. They put activists on that Supreme Court, bad news. So while they're trying to do that and delegitimize it, they got to go ahead and say, well, it's compromised. The Supreme Court right now is illegitimate and all of that because they keep ruling against these people's tyranny. So he's calling it out. He's like, it ain't even a secret. Y'all are doing that. And then he's about to give examples that cut him to the bone.
Chuck Schumer has gone to the steps of the Supreme Court
Gorsuch
and threatened justices by name.
Kavanaugh.
That they wouldn't know what hit them if they ruled in ways that the Democratic Party didn't like. In May of 2022,
what would happen there?
The unprecedented action of leaking the Supreme Court decision in the Dobbs case occurred, unleashing left-wing street militias outside of justices' homes. Justice Alito, the author of that opinion, says that he thinks he knows who it was. And he thinks it was done on purpose to assassinate a Supreme Court justice to stop the Dobbs decision from coming down. Merrick Garland did nothing to stop these left-wing street militias.
Now, isn't that ironic? Nothing to stop the street militias and stuff like that. But you got to go get them Trump supporters. Got to go get them. So now, you see how the Democrats work? I mean, they run Washington. They run these agencies, and these agencies are compromised. Therefore, number one priority, get in and dismantle them. That's what needs to happen. So now he's pointing out all of the crap that they did, and he's about to bring it all home. Come on, Cotton, land this big Boeing 747.
As they blatantly violated federal law, protesting outside the homes of justices about a pending matter. In fact, he directed the Marshal Service
to do what?
To make no arrests. He lied about it to Congress and was exposed by Senator Britt from Alabama. It all culminated where it naturally was with a left-wing hitman traveling from California to the capital region and being caught outside Brett Kavanaugh's home.
Wait, and you telling me the news didn't go on for month after month talking about the rise of extremists on the left? Look at this. The Democrats inspired a hitman to try to take out a Supreme Court justice. I can't believe. They didn't do that. They just kind of overlooked it and kind of moved on. But you let one potential threat rise up, stuff that you can't even verify. All you get is people like Alexandria Cortez and Ilhan Omar. They're threatening my life. I'm getting death calls and death threats. No proof, no nothing. And you'll hear the media parrot that. The rhetoric from Trump is putting people's lives in danger. People are getting death threats. Can you confirm that? No. I'm just taking their word for it. But you got a full-blown hitman inspired to come there and try to take out a Supreme Court justice. All over the rhetoric that the Democrats cause, first starting with leaking the dang on Supreme Court discussion.
Things like zip ties, tactical knives, pepper spray, hammers, screwdrivers,
he meant
nail
business.
punches,
He meant business.
crowbars, duct tape,
He was playing for
pistol
keeps.
lights,
Keeps. He was playing for keeps.
boots, padded for stealthiness,
Boots.
and a Glock 17 pistol. Even after that left-wing hitman was caught outside Justice Kavanaugh's home, the White House continued to refuse to enforce the law, indeed, to celebrate these left-wing street militias. The White House spokeswoman even said, we certainly do continue to encourage the protests, outside judges' home.
Radical
That's
left.
the president's position. That's what this entire episode is about. Not about getting to the bottom of behavior that's permitted by law and permitted by rule, but continuing your brazen and outrageous campaign against the Supreme Court because you don't like the way it rules. You all ought to be ashamed of yourself.
They should be.
Because you're the ones who always profess how you're defending our democracy. You're the ones undermining our democracy.
Oh, Tom! I love speech like that. I like those rough and tough conversations. See, so they should be ashamed of themselves if they had shame, if they had conscience. But see, that's one of the rules to become a Democrat politician. You have to have either a shared conscience or a dull conscience, or they just didn't install that one in the model. We left conscience out of this one, Jim. I sent it to the Democrat section. Okay. Yeah, the ones that are broken and don't have consciences, put them in a Democrat pile over there. Because that's what you got to have over there. They're probably offended that this man is calling them out, exposing their true motive, exposing their corruption. And it is ironic that they're the first to jump out there. Our democracy's at risk. We have to protect our democracy. Trump can't win because our democracy is in jeopardy. As they undermine every part of our democracy in every area throughout my whole show, we just exposed it. The dang on border, dang on Supreme Court they're trying to go after, the DOJ and them attacking our freedom of speech and all of these things. They're using their power to undermine our democracy while lying to us, saying all of the stuff we're doing is to protect our democracy. We have to censor you to protect our democracy. We have to force you to get stuff that you don't want to protect our democracy. And now everything is to protect our democracy. We have to keep Trump off the ballot to protect our democracy. I'm so sick of hearing that. We're not even a democracy. We're a republic. That's why he put it in quotes. But then let's go ahead and let him finish him off.
As Senator Graham said, things will be different here starting next Thursday. But not just that, she will be on the other foot one day. Go ahead, issue this subpoena. See what happens when we take back the majority. See which subpoenas we start to issue for the left-wing activists and billionaires who are behind all of your agitprop campaigns, who probably help fund those left-wing street militias outside justices' homes.
Tom, wait until we get back on the wheels of steel. Y'all want to play games? Now, if we can get rid of these rhinos in the Senate and we have an attitude like this, do you understand how quick Soros should be subpoenaed? You understand how quickly anybody who might have contributed, funded, who's paying for all those buses of them Antifians? Who is paying for all of those protesters outside of the Supreme Court Justice's house? Who is paying for all of these advocates to go down to the border and help with these people to come here? Who's paying for that? Folks and agencies and companies or whoever that is paying for this stuff, for this radicalization and stuff, they need to get subpoenaed too. Why are you undermining our whole country by paying for this or supporting that or whatever? And then he finishes with this.
Who helped fund the anti-Semitic wing of the Democratic Party protesting on college campuses and even in this Capitol complex. Go ahead, issue your subpoena next week. we'll see what happens when we take back the majority.
Woo-wee! Cotton dropping, all kind of truth and threats. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, do it. See what happens. I love that. So we will see. And if there isn't, unfortunately, a lot of rhinos blocking some real action, if they don't stop us from taking over the House and the Senate because we have real MAGA Republicans running in 2024, because see, we got the biggest threat to the Republican Party is Republican rhinos trying to stop real Republicans from getting elected, then blaming it on Trump. Yeah, Trump is the one that made us, and I'm going, okay. So if that happens, I want to see some action, man. These Democrats need to start paying a price for all of the shenanigans that they participate in. And it just sucks that we have weak Republicans that aren't talking like that, aren't saying, go ahead, keep doing it and see what happens. Watch. I'm so mad that they didn't censor Tlaib out there celebrating, talking about, and I'm going, her butt should have been censored. But nope. We got weak, sorry behind Republicans. Now, let's not do it. They create these rules. We should have that attitude that Cotton has. Okay. When the pendulum swings back, watch what happens. That's what should happen. So God bless y'all. God bless America. 2 hours. I did it. It's 2:10. 2 hours and 10 minutes. I gave y'all a heavy dose tonight. That's right. And I enjoyed giving it. I also gave them a heavy dose of black eyes. And I like doing that, but I could do that all day. I'm like Captain America. I can do this all day when it comes down to beating up these dang on Democrats and their lies. So thank you for watching. Thank you for kicking it with me. Thanks for all of the people who gave during the super chat. Look at that. Awesome. And also don't let the kindness stop right there. Yeah, feel free. Those that didn't give during the super chat, you can go to my PayPal link for my charity right underneath this live stream. And you can also contribute. All right. Don't forget to text MAGA to this number, 330-974-4607, so you can be involved in my text, group text. Subscribe to my other channel and follow me on all of the other platforms. Links are below. I just want to tell everybody I appreciate you guys so very, very much. And look out for the merch because it's going to be coming real soon. So with that being said, I am exhausted, but I got to work. Got to do stuff, man. So let's go ahead and get out of here. This is all city. Get all close. Got it. Round y'all close. Yeah. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.